friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Eva. This is Reading with Eva, and I want to apologize in advance for the lighting in here. It's very late when I'm filming this, but I'm here to start Kindle Unlimited KU Clean Out episode 3. We've had a little bit of a change with this, so I am trying out a new method for this where I spin for a number and then I spin for a number of books. I did this and I've lost the clip that I filmed, which is why I'm refilming an intro. So I did lose that clip. So I'm just going to tell you the 4 books that we're going to be reading. So we did spin a number 4 and then I did get 4 books. I spun for 4 books. So we're going to go over the 4 books that I got for KU Clean Out for this round, and then we're going to talk about, well, first we'll talk about the changes that are going to be being made. So usually with KU Clean Out, my intent at the beginning of the year was to do 1 episode of this a month, and thanks to my friend Brittany over at Edo-Lodge Reading, I have decided to give myself a little bit more grace when it comes to vlogs and when they are put out. So what I'm going to be doing for KU Clean Out instead is just reading the KU books that I have, picking them with the spinner wheel as I said that I was going to, but then I'm not going to have necessarily a schedule of when vlogs are coming out. I'm having a little bit of trouble keeping up with an actual like consistent schedule between the snow days that the kids in my house have had and then just my own like chronic pain and chronic illness issues. So we're just going to kind of give grace on this. So at this point there have been 2 full-length KU Clean Out episodes and 1 bonus episode. The bonus episode was a hockey romance collab that I did with a bunch of my friends, and so I hope that you'll go watch those. But if you are new and this is the first episode of KU Clean Out that you've ever seen, I'm going to explain what this is. This is my version of like read it or yeet it, or like read it or unhaul it. It's my version of that. Shelve it or scrap it is where I think it started with Becca from Becca and the Books. So this is my version of that where I am trying to read down my KU TBR. I have a private wish list on Amazon that's just full of, it's overflowing with Kindle Unlimited books, and so my rule for myself is that it has to be completely cleaned out before I download more. I make a few exceptions for this for things like vlogs and projects, other projects that I'm having. However, I cannot get rid of a book to make room for another book, if that makes sense. So I have spun for 4 books and we're going to go over really quick what those books are. I do own 1 of these books, so I'm gonna go and grab it really fast, but the other 3 I only have on my Kindle. Okay, so the 4 books that I have spun for, I will kind of scooch. I'm so sorry for what's going on back here. We're moving stuff around, but I will scoot over a little bit so that I can try to remember to put a picture here. But the first one I have is Break the Girl by Rachel Jonas and Nikki Thorne. This is a hockey dark romance. It's like a college hockey dark romance, the first in a series. I don't really know anything about this book other than that. It's been on my Kindle now for like a year or something. Like, it's just a book that's just been sitting on my Kindle for 500 years. So there's that. And the next one I have is The Witch is Dead by Geneva Monroe. This is the 2nd book in the Dark Oz series that I am reading with my friend Brittany, and we are on book 2. So I was lucky enough when I spun my wheel to get this book. I actually thought that I would have to read this book on top of another book, you know, basically 5 Kindle Unlimited books for the month, but luckily enough I got The Witch is Dead for that. So awesome. This is a like dark romance Wizard of Oz retelling, where we are following, they're all humans, but we are following like Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion. Those are the characters that these characters are all based around, and there's a lot of shenanigans. It's reverse harem. I absolutely love this series. I will be purchasing the physical copies of these books and I can't wait. I know Brittany already has physical copies and I can't wait to own these. The next one I have is The Orc and the Innkeeper by I don't know who this is by, but the book is the first book in the Elderberry Tales? Yeah, Elderberry Tales series by Cora Crane, so I had to open the book in order to see it. This book kind of, I haven't really heard anybody talk about this book, but it gives me, when I read it, it gave me like Legends and Lattes vibes, but I think it's spicy. And Legends and Lattes is not. So that's what this one is. It looks like it's an orc and a human woman. So I'm excited for that. And then the last one that I have is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And this book has been everywhere. I did pick up a copy of this for myself. I don't know that they even make this in a hardcover, but I have the paperback. It's pretty large. It's actually really floppy as well. But I've been told by Brittany and then by my friend Brianna and my friend Reni that I will love this book. I think Brianna tried it, but that I will love this book. So I'm really excited for this one. She is a pretty hefty girl. I mean, over 600 pages, like just over 600 pages. So, and I know that there is a second book in this series coming out in 2025, so I'm really excited for that. Like I said, I've not started this or read it. I literally just bought it this month to be put on my TBR cart. But she's a big girl. Like she's a hefty book. So yeah, this book I've actually had on my TBR since it was like announced and everybody started reading it, and I was like, oh, I might like this book. So this is the last book that I have. So what I am going to do on camera is we are going to throw these 4 books into a spinner wheel, and we're going to see which one we're going to start with, because I don't know which one to start with. So that is what we are going to do on camera, just because I have you here and why not. So let me just make a spinner wheel really quick. Okay, so if we get the Witch is Dead, I may respin, only because I know when Brittany and I are starting that one. I don't want to get ahead. So let's go ahead and we will spin this wheel and see what we get. Maybe. Okay, now we're going to spin and see what we get. Here we go. Okay, the Orc and the Innkeeper. I'm actually really excited for this one. I don't know really anything about it, but I'll pull it up really quick so we can read the synopsis on this one. Okay, because I don't know anything about this book. I downloaded it because I liked the cover, and it is a 4-book series, so we're starting another series. But this is a pretty short book. It's 278 pages. And it says, a spunky human innkeeper drowning in magical pests, a brooding orc brewmaster, and the fake engagement that could save them both. Okay, so it's fake dating, fake marriage. We love that. I've poured my heart and soul into reviving my aunt's inn after her passing, but a pixie dust mite infestation threatens to destroy everything. Their glittery trails of destruction have infiltrated the guest rooms, and the cost to eradicate them will leave me penniless. I'm desperate for a solution. Enter Thoric Ironfist, the orc who once tormented me in high school. Interesting. Now a wealthy brewmaster, he's determined to expand his ill empire into the human realm, but prejudice stands in his way. When a potential investor mistakes him for the muscle instead of the brains, Thoric blurts out that his human fiancé handles the business side of things. Fate intervenes when I overhear his FIP. I seize the opportunity and strike a deal. I'll play the part of his devoted human partner if he financially aids me in banishing the pests. What could possibly go wrong? So this is a standalone fantasy romance set in the magical town of Elderberry Falls. It is interconnected with other tales in the Elderberry Falls series, but can be read alone. All books in the Elderberry Falls series guarantee short, sweet, spicy romances in a cozy, magical town with a happily ever after. And the tropes for this book are fake engagement, fake fiancé, enemies to lovers, he falls first, and former bully romance. So I'm really excited for this one. It's very short. It's 278 pages. I should be able to get it done in a couple of days. So I'm going to go actually start it tonight, and then I will be back to check in with you guys when I get to like 50%. That's usually how I run vlogs. I don't come in and like check in every day or anything like that. So once I hit like 50%, then I will be back to talk to you about what I've read and what I'm thinking about it and stuff like that. And that'll also give me a bit more of like what the book is actually about to formulate any thoughts. But I think that this will be a super fun book to read. I'm actually so excited to read this. I I don't know, something about it tells me that it's going to give me like Legends and Lattes like vibes, and I really love the Legends and Lattes books. I think we're getting a third book actually, and I'm really excited for it because I really love those books. Like, I have special editions of them, so that's what we're going to go do. We're going to start The Orc and the Innkeeper, and I will be back at around 50%. Hello friends. Good morning. So I am at 57% of The Orc and the Innkeeper, and I want to talk about it. So this book is following our orc Thorak and our human character Mariah, and this is like an enemies to lovers former bully romance. So when Mariah was in school, Thorak and his friends made fun of her and bullied her for being a human. He was the only orc, but his friends were all like magical creatures, so like trolls, fairies, all of that. So they would make fun of Mariah since she was the only human in her grade. And there's like a fake fiance trope in this. So Thorak ends up needing help from Thorak ends up meeting with an investor for his ale company, and Mariah overhears it, and she also needs help financially with a fairy dust mite infestation. She runs an inn, so I'm taking this to be like the magical version of like bed bugs. But she needs an exterminator. It's going to cost her $20,000. So she tells Thorak, hey, I overheard what you were telling this human investor who's very like prejudiced against magical creatures. I will be your fake fiance if you will pay the extermination bill. So they agree, they shake on it, whatever. I will say that this does explore, I'm going to call this a diverse book because this does explore prejudice when it comes to like the interracial species, or interspecies relationships. Yeah. So I'm gonna call this a diverse book because I feel like I could have read this and it could have been like a white woman with a black man, and that it would have worked for like racism discussion as well. So that is what's happening here. Of course, they're gonna fall in love at the end. It's a romance, but I am 57% through this book. This is only like 250 pages, so I only have about an hour and a half left of the ebook. So I'm gonna finish this here in like an hour and a half, but I'm gonna finish this today, and then I'll come and I'll check in for this vlog and we'll spin for our next book. But I'm really loving this book. I plan on continuing this series, so that's another series that I have to throw onto my series spreadsheet for the year. We don't love that for me, but we also love that for me. This definitely gives Legends and Lattes vibes. It's spicier than Legends and Lattes. Like, there is spice in this book. There's not in Legends and Lattes. But it's spicier version of that. There's like Gilmore Girls vibes if Gilmore Girls was like magical. I don't know. I'm absolutely loving this book. So I'm going to go finish it and then I will be back to check in. Hello friends, good morning. So since this is I'm gonna insert this footage into my Kindle Unlimited vlog, my KU cleanup vlog, because this is a Kindle unboxing. So I ordered a second Kindle. I already have a Kindle Paperwhite from 2021, I believe this one was from, the like generation 11 or whatever. So I ordered a brand new 2024 Kindle Paperwhite, and yeah, so let's talk a little bit about it before we unbox it. But it's right here. Okay, but I was originally going to buy the Kindle Color Soft, and then I couldn't really justify the pricing to myself. So the Kindle Color Soft, after tax for where I live, is just over $300, and all I'm really getting with the Kindle Color Soft that I'm not getting with the Paperwhite is colored highlights and colored covers. So the color covers was what really sold me on this. I used to, but I don't do a ton of annotating now on my Kindle where I would need them to be sorted by highlight. I also am a person who, when I do annotate on my Kindle, it's like specifically for quotes, and if I really want to annotate something, I will just purchase a physical book. So I went ahead and I got a Kindle Paperwhite. This is only a 16 gigabyte, and it's not the signature edition, so it's the cheaper of the two. For anyone who doesn't like ASMR, I'm really sorry, there's not much I can do about that, but we're going to open this up because I'm going to set this up on camera, and then I do have a new clear case because I absolutely love my clear cases for my Kindles. I do Kindles and stickers, so that is what I choose to do. Okay, so here she is on the floor. Here she is. So this is the Kindle Paperwhite 12th gen. I got the 16 gigabyte. It has 7-inch clear, glare-free display, adjustable warm light. It's waterproof and has weeks of battery life. So the only difference between this, or the biggest difference between this Kindle and my Paperwhite Signature Edition from 2021 is that this one is not going to have the like adjustable brightness like this one does. This one will adjust automatically, but I kind of wanted to try something a little bit different. So we'll go ahead and we will open this up. Okay, so it comes with a cord, as it should. I probably will use this cord, but it comes with a charging cord but no charge port. Like, it doesn't come with like the plug-in for the charge port, but it says the little Kindle user guide here, which I don't really need that. And then here is the actual Kindle. Okay, so here is the Kindle compared to my other Kindle. So obviously this Kindle has a case on it, but in all reality they're about the same size. This one is a little bit taller, I think, but it feels like the same like materials and everything else. So I'm going to turn it on, and we're actually going to throw the clear case on it. I just want to make sure that it fits. It should, okay, but your girl gets a little nervous. This one did not come with a screen protector, but that's okay. This is still by Mission. I will say this Mission, the new Mission cases, okay, so it fits perfectly, but the new Mission cases are like a more flexible plastic. This is like plastic. This is almost like a rubber, like a silicone, as opposed to that. So I'm hoping that like my pop sockets and stuff will stick to this very well. Okay, English, United States. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for that to set itself up. Okay, so you can set this up with your phone. So let me find my phone. Where is my phone? Here she is. So we're gonna set this up with my phone. I think that's gonna be the easiest way to go about this. So, okay, I have some stickers coming, and I also have straps coming. So my Kindle is at 45% straight out of the box. I will say that on, okay, so this is done. That was pretty painless, actually. So it does allow you to make this Kindle kid-free. I'm not going to do that, or kid-friendly. I'm not going to do that. So no. And then I already have Kindle Unlimited. So I think when you open a brand new Kindle out of the box, if you do not have Kindle Unlimited, it will prompt you, here, go this way please, to set that up. Dump it out first, sorry. Or throw it away downstairs. it will prompt you to set that up. And then of course it will do this little thing here where it walks you through. I will say on holding the two Kindles, this one is bigger. This new Paperwhite, it is larger. Like just holding it, it feels like a bigger device, which I think could be good and it could be bad. I think that it's going to really depend on how I'm feeling. Okay, let's talk about how I'm going to be using these two devices. So my old Paperwhite, or my original Paperwhite, Harley Kindle, if you will, I'm going to be using this device for my Libby books, my ARCs, and my buddy reads. This is going to be the Kindle that I grab when I'm doing those things. That way I can have two books on a Kindle devices at once. And then my new device, the newer one, which I have not named yet, will be used for everything else. So these will be like my main reads. My Kindle Unlimited books will be on here. This is a bigger device. Like I feel like this feels like a much bigger device to me. And this will be my Kindle that I use for that. At least I'm going to attempt to do it that way. I also feel like both of these both of these Kindles are waterproof, so they can still do things like go in the bath with me, go to the pool with me, all of that. But this will probably be the device that I am grabbing the most. Plus I want to kind of get a feel for this new Kindle. And I have some buddy reads that are starting next week. So, or at the time that I'm filming this, they're starting in like 24 hours. So I will get to kind of feel both devices and decide which device I prefer, I guess. But I think both devices will still get used quite a bit. So that is what we are doing here. And then of course my library is still, when you default, your library is going to look like this. Obviously my covers are not loaded, but it's gonna look like this. This is just like your main library view. I prefer to look at my view through collections, just because I set my collections up the way that I want them set up. So I'm not going to download every book to this device. Some people do that. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to go through here and like after I get off of the camera, and I am going to download the books that I know need to be downloaded to this device. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset up my Paperwhite from 2021. And I'm going to only upload my Libby books and any buddy reads that I know I need to do. So I'm actually going to make a new collection. If you want to see a collections video, I know that there is a poll up on my community tab at the time that I'm filming this, but I don't know if it will still be available to you by the time that this video goes up. But if you want to see like an updated, like what's on my Kindle / organization collections video, go ahead and let me know down in the comments and I will make that, because I have completely changed the way that my collections are saved. And they've also changed, at least on this device, it says new for collections. You can now choose how your collections are shown in your library. Show all, none, or only your favorites. And you can change the setting at any time from the home and library section of settings. So I think probably I will see if I can do that on this device. If I can't, then whatever. But I probably will only have certain collections that show on each device. That way I know what everything is. And yeah, so we're going to see how this works with two Kindles. I've never had two Kindles, but I feel like at the same time, but I feel like this is going to be similar to like picking up more than one physical book for me. I always have found that I'm wanting to always read like 2 ebooks at once, but then because my default is to read ebooks. So with doing that, it's like reading 2 physical books, except that those are completely different things. And with an ebook on a on an e-reader, I would have to like switch between the books physically in the e-reader, and I never liked doing that. So I'm hoping that this will kind of help that balance. But that's all I'm gonna really do with this Kindle right now. I'm supposed to have more stuff coming in the next couple of days. I will have some new stickers coming. I will have a Kindle strap instead of pop socket. So this device will stay with a pop socket. I do have actually a new case for this one as well. That I will probably put on, and I'll probably retire this case. She's just a little old and crusty. But then we have this new case here, so I will be doing stickers, and I'll be showing how I do that because I get questions about that all the time, how I stick the stickers to the back without sticking them down. So we'll do a little walkthrough of that. I think this Kindle will stay the theme that it is. It's just kind of like a dark romance, hockey romance theme type thing going on right now. And then this one, I think we'll get some different stickers on it. I don't know what the theme of this one will be or what the name of this one will be, so I have to come up with a name for this as well. I would like it to kind of be bookish. Ari named this one, so she is Harley Quindle, but I would like this one to have, I don't know, a bookish name of some kind. So I'm gonna think on that. And we're gonna see what I decide to name her. But I'm gonna go set my Kindle up the rest of the way, and I will be back after a while to check in. But yeah, I'm gonna switch to this Kindle just so I can use it and see how I like everything, get my settings exactly where I want them to be. And I will be back later to check in for the actual like reading vlog portion of this, but I wanted to put this somewhere that it was easily found. So, okay, goodbye.
Because of you, I feel like I'm good. Because of you, I feel like I should. Because of you, I feel a little more. And that's all because of you. I finally know how to play my part. You made me see the light that's in the dark. Now I know that I don't own a broken heart, and that's all because of you. Maybe I'm not supposed to say it out loud, but lately I feel like there's nothing else on my mind. I've lived a life without you, and that wasn't enough for me. I've seen the world through my eyes. I'd rather share this scenery. I will give my heart forever if I'm giving it to you.
Hello friends, welcome back to this vlog. So I'm here to check in for KU clean out. So my book that I was reading for KU clean out is The Witch is Dead. Hopefully there is like a clip in here somewhere where I was talking about this book, but if not, I'm gonna go over it really fast because I don't actually remember the last clip that I filmed for this vlog. It's been a little while since I filmed anything for this vlog. So The Witch is Dead is the second book in the Dark Oz series by Geneva Monroe. This is a book that I'm reading with my friend Brittany. We are buddy reading this entire series. It's very like Witsec vibe for us. We absolutely love the characters in this book. We're just enamored with this. But this is a dark romance Wizard of Oz retelling, and we are following Thea, who is like Dorothy, Crow, who's the Scarecrow, Danny, who is the lion, and Nick, who is the Tin Man. They are all human. This is not like a monster romance or anything like that, but they are all human. But those are the characters that they embody, and essentially something has happened in Oz, and now Thea is on the run, and all four of the men are on the run with her. This is a reverse harem, like why choose type book. I don't even know that it's necessarily, I mean, yeah, I guess it would be considered why choose, but it's a reverse harem why choose book, and we're absolutely loving it. So I am about 50% through this book at this point. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because it is a second book in a series, but I'm absolutely loving it. I can almost guarantee that this will be a 6-star series for me, just simply because of what we're embodying in this book. So I am working on this, and I am 50% through. So I wanted to come in and just check in and just talk a little bit about like my feelings and my thoughts on this book. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I cannot wait to read book 3. I will not be reading book 3 in this vlog because we have, I think, 2 other books that we do need to read for this vlog, but honestly, I think that if Brittany and I had had time in January, we would have read this entire series already. But this second installment picks up right where the first one leaves off, and I just think that these are so well written, and it's like the perfect amount of like dark romance and suspense, and also like smutty, steamy goodness in it, that I literally have no complaints. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving this book. So basically, like, honestly, I've been wanting to just pick this book up every time that I'm not reading something else, or even when sometimes even when I am reading something else, I'm like, oh, I just want to read The Witch is Dead. But I wanted to come in and check in here. I will come back when I finish this book and give my final thoughts and my final rating for this, but I can almost guarantee you this will be a 6-star book. Like, something crazy would have to happen for me not to give this 6 stars. And then we will spin for our next book for this vlog. Yeah, because I honestly don't know which one I want to read. I know that we have, I think, 2 more left in this vlog to read. Let me just check. Yeah, we have 2 more in this vlog. So we have these, and then we have Quicksilver, and we have Break the Girl. And unless I decide that I'm going to read one or the other over the top, I don't know yet which one I want to really read, because they're completely different books. So one, Quicksilver, is a romantasy, and Break the Girl is a dark hockey romance. So we're probably going to leave it up to the spinner wheel to pick, but yeah, I just wanted to come in and check in for this book, and that's really it. So yeah, that's really all I have. So I will be back when I have finished The Witch is Dead. Hello friends. So I have finished The Witch is Dead, and I'm giving it 6 stars. I think that this series for me will be a 6-star series. I absolutely loved this book. This is the 2nd book in the Dark Oz series, so I can't really talk a lot about this book just because it is the middle book in a trilogy, but I also love this book. We explore deeper our characters, especially Nick. It seems that this is Nick's, like, we get a lot of insight into Nick and like how he thinks in his brain. So giving it 6 stars, and we're going to spin for our last book, or no, I'm sorry, our next book in this vlog. Okay, I have 2 more books for this vlog. So one is Quicksilver and one is Break the Girl. These are 2 completely different books. One is a dark hockey romance and the other is a romantasy. So let's go ahead and we will get this focused. Come on, there we go. And spin. Okay, so our next book is going to be Break the Girl, which means that our last book is going to be Quicksilver. So I'll take out Quicksilver really quick because I have it right here in my TBR cart. Maybe, if I can get it out. Oh, she's a big girl. Okay, so we're going to read Break the Girl, but this is Quicksilver if you do not know what this is. So we're going to read Break the Girl, and then we're going to read Quicksilver, which I'm kind of grateful for because Quicksilver is a big boy. She is like 600 pages, and I just don't know that I feel it right now. You know what I mean? But I mean, she is chunky. She's large and in charge. I will read this on my Kindle. So Break the Girl is a dark hockey romance, and we're gonna go in and read our synopsis for it really quick, because I really know nothing about this one. I think I've started this one a couple of times and then kind of like put it down over and over again, which isn't really great, but whatever, right? So let me find it. Okay, my Kindle app is being really weird. Break the Girl. Here she is. Okay. Alright, so this is the first book in a trilogy called Savage Kings of Bradwin U. I don't know if this is a standalone or like a standalone, like interconnected standalones, or if it's actually a series, but this is the first one. It's an enemies to lovers hockey romance by Rachel Jonas and Nikki Thorne, and it says, everyone knows not to cross the campus D-bags on or off the ice. You don't sneak into their house thinking no one's watching. You don't ransack their bedrooms, tripping over hockey gear as you rummage through their things, and you definitely don't get caught with your head under one's bed and your size 16 backside pointed right at their camera, unless of course you're me. I was so desperate to get my hands on their Brotherhood's Book of Sins that I did all of the above. I was in search of proof that could incriminate Tate, my soon-to-be stepbrother and former member of the frat. But not only do I come up empty, I've now unknowingly invited 3 shadows to darken my world. The most broken and twisted of them all, Micah, Vince, and Ash. They promise no one has to know I trespass on their territory. My secret is safe with them, safe from the others, but there's a cost. their silence for my freedom. I'll be theirs to control, to own, these sick devils with perfect smiles masking their cold hearts. And if I can't find a way to beat them at their game, they'll break my world and my soul into a million tiny pieces. So it has dark themes, enemies to lovers, hockey, romance, wide shoes, plus size heroine, new adult college romance, Kings of Cypress Point crossover. So Kings of Cypress Point apparently is the series before this, but it does say no need to read that series first, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to read this one. If I like this book and I decide that I want to read the Kings of Cypress Point, I may, but for now we're not going to. It says the main characters in this series proudly wave all 99 plus of their red flags. In other words, this dark bully romance contains graphic content and questionable behavior not suitable for or enjoyed by all readers. If you're sensitive to certain themes and scenarios, check the full content warning inside the book. Read responsibly and at your own risk. Also, this is the first installment in a trilogy, so Stevie won't get her HEA until the end. So this is a true trilogy, and not a interconnected standalone, so that's good to know. And it is 386 pages. So I've just finished The Witch is Dead, which is also a wide shoes romance. I wouldn't call it bully, but it was wide shoes for sure. So this is going to be interesting to jump into another wide shoes. So I'm gonna go start this and see how we feel. Okay, I'm gonna go start this. We're making a dent in our KU books, which is good because I would actually really like for KU Clean Out to be done with, if that makes sense. Yeah, I just would really like for it just to be not like done with, but I kind of want KU Clean Out to just be, you know, done. So that is what we're going to be reading next for KU Clean Out. Technically, I should be reading this on my other Kindle. I'm going to allow myself to download this book to this Kindle. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to stick to what I said. Okay? I'm going to stick to what I said. So we're going to download our book to my Kindle, and I'm going to go read this. And yeah, I think it will be good for me to read this book. And yeah, we'll see how I feel about this one. I don't know how I'm going to feel, but we'll find out, I guess. So, we have Break the Girl, which apparently I'm on chapter 2, so I started this at some point. So that's where I'm going to start. I am going to just start where I left off in this, because I think I was going to read this for the Kindle, the KU Clean Out like bonus episode, and then I decided against it because I wasn't really in the mood. So I'm just going to start where I left off. So I am 4% into Break the Girl, and I'm gonna go read for a little while, and then I will be back when I've hit about 50% of this one to check in. Hello friends, another vlog update from my bathroom because I'm about to take a shower, but I wanted to come in and let you know that I did finish Break the Girl. I'm giving it 5 stars. There were 2 different twists in this book. One of them I guessed. Okay, and then the other one I did not. I should have guessed the second one, but that's totally fine. So 5 stars for that. I will be continuing that series, so that's another series on my series list. And then I'm going to be starting Quicksilver for this vlog. That will be the last book in this vlog. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I do have it on my Kindle through KU, and then I do own a physical copy, but I also have access to the audiobook. So I think we're going to just kind of jump between the audio and the ebook, depending on my mood, because I don't know how fantasy heavy this book is, and sometimes it's a little bit easier for me to immersion read when there's a lot of world building. So we're gonna kind of see how that goes, and that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna go start Quicksilver, and I will be back when I have something to talk about. It might be before 50%, it might not be. I don't know what the percentage between romance and fantasy is in this book. I know it's a romantasy, but I don't know like how much fantasy there is. So yeah, Break the Girl. I guess I could just say what this is. This is the dark cocky romance, Bride When You. So we start with 3 main male characters and then a female main character. We get POVs from the 4 of them, and then there is a 4th male male main character that's added in here. I will say, if you do not like a stepbrother trope, this is not for you, because at like 80% of this book, there is a stepbrother trope. Now, the stepbrother is brought up a lot throughout the book, but there's like actual spice between the female main character and her stepbrother, or her soon-to-be stepbrother. They are adults, they're college age, and they were college age when their parents got together. I think their parents have only been together for like a year or something, and they're about to get married. So if that doesn't bother you, then it's fine, but some people don't like the stepbrother trope. I personally don't care. But if you don't like that, or you don't like bully romance, this isn't for you. It is dark romance, I will say that. So there are morally gray, morally black things that happen in this book. There's some remorse for things later in the book, but just know that going in, that this is not like a fluffy contemporary hockey romance. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go start Quicksilver. I'm going to see how far into that I can get this weekend, and yeah, that's really it. Okay, bye. Hello friends, welcome back to this vlog. So I'm here to update this vlog for KU Clean Out. So we are on our last book, so I'm going to talk really quickly because I don't remember if I have a clip. I probably do, but just in case, the last book that I read for KU Clean Out was Break the Girl. I gave this book 5 stars. It leaves on like a giant cliffhanger, so I can't wait to read the second book in that series, but that is what I read. I'm pretty sure there's a clip. If there's not, I will come back at the end anyway to like wrap everything up, and I will talk more in depth about that. But that is a dark hockey romance, and I really did enjoy it for what it was. I will say that if you're not a bully romance reader, you may not like it. Break the Girl sort of reminded me of like the Witsex series. It's darker than the Witsex series, but as far as the dynamic between her and the guys, as we moved through the story, we definitely had different personalities of the guys. They do start out as like all bullies to her, simply because the dynamic of their relationship is that she gets caught breaking into their frat house, and in doing so, she becomes like their possession, right? So if you don't like a bully romance, this is probably not the one for you, but I really did enjoy it for what it was, so I give it 5 stars. The last book for this vlog is a long-awaited book that my friends have been yelling at me to read. I have picked this book up a few different times and started it and just never finished it, and that is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I clearly own this physically, and I also have it on my Kindle because I did download it on KU before I bought it physically. So I wanted this cover because when the new covers come out, this cover will no longer be sold. So I wanted this cover to be able to display on my shelf after we get the new covers, and I will be probably, as long as I like it, I will be purchasing it in the new covers. All of these bookmarks are to mark 5 days worth of reading, and then this is the bookmark that will move throughout the whole thing. And honestly, this bookmark just matches the butterflies on this cover so nicely. I couldn't have found a better bookmark. So I do not know a lot about this book. I know it is a romantasy, and I know it is pretty like spicy. She's a thick one as well, like a big girl. I think 600 pages, but let me check. Yeah, just over 600 pages, 609 pages. So I do have access to the audio for this one, but I kind of want to just read it and enjoy it this week to get it done for this vlog. So yeah, we can just read the back. I feel like enough people at this point on BookTube have read this book that I'm not spoiling anything. So it says, do not touch the sword, do not turn the key, do not open the gate. 24-year-old Sarah's Fane. So she's a little bit of an older heroine, which is interesting because a lot of times we see 24 to me is like almost 25. So like 25 and older is what I would consider like an older FMC, and I like to see an FMC that's closer to my age. So, it says 24-year-old Sarah Fane is good at keeping secrets. No one knows about the strange powers she possesses or the fact that she has been picking pockets and stealing from the undying queen's reservoirs for as long as she can remember. In the land of the unforgiving desert, there isn't much a girl wouldn't do for a glass of water, but sooner or later every secret comes out. When Sarah comes face to face with death himself, she inadvertently reopens a gateway between realms and is transported to a land of ice and snow. The Fae have always been the stuff of myth, of legend, of nightmares. But it turns out they're real, and Sarah has landed right in the middle of a centuries-long conflict that might just get her killed. The first of her kind to tread the frozen mountains of Yuvelia in over 1,000 years, Sirius mistakenly buys herself to Kingfisher, a handsome Fae warrior who has secrets and nefarious agendas of his own. He will use her alchemist magic to protect his people no matter what it costs him or her. So, it says that Callie Hart is a best-selling author of dark romance. Yeah, so I think that this may be a, like, dark romantasy, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that the guy on the front of this is Kingfisher, so that's interesting. But I'm going to start this. I do have this broken down into chunks so I can read it in 5 days. So I'm going to go do my nighttime routine. Everyone's sleeping in my house, and I'm going to try to read the first 10 chapters of this. If I don't complete that, then I will finish it in the morning. But that is where we are. We're going to read Quicksilver this week, finish out this vlog. It's going to be great. I'm actually super excited to read this because I've had a bit of FOMO around this book because everyone that I know that has read this has really loved it. So I cannot wait to get my hands on this. I think the only person I know that read this and didn't like it was Kelsey. So everyone else, I'm pretty sure liked it. Like, I'm pretty sure Reni liked it. I know Brianna liked it. Brittany liked it. So I'm hoping to absolutely love this book. And yeah, so I will be back when I have an update. I don't know. With these vlogs, I've been hitting 50% of books before I update, but we've gotten a lot of romance, and this is technically romantasy, so there may be actually something for me to update before 50%, and if there is, I will be back. But until then, I'm going to go read Quicksilver. Hello friends, so I'm here to check in for this vlog. We are about 50% through Quicksilver. I'm on page 298 of 609. So yeah, we're about 50% through, maybe a little bit more. I could plug it in, but I'm not going to. So I am on chapter 20 of Quicksilver. So let me just go over what this book is about, because I don't think I really explained it. I just said it was like a romantasy because I didn't really know. I go into most of my books very blind. I'm just going to be honest and real. So unless it's like part of a series or something where what is my camera doing? I'm so sorry. Where I've already read like the first book, I go into everything very blind. That's just how I prefer to read. So this is, we're following our main female character, Saris, and is that how you say it? Yeah, Saris. She's 24 years old, and she is a human girl who has basically grown up and lives in the slums with her younger brother and an old man who is like her mentor. Her mother is dead. I don't remember what happens to her father, but her mother is murdered by like guards or whatever in the streets, and so it's just Sarah. So Saris, they live very poorly, and she ends up stealing this. Let me make sure this is not on the back here. Okay, so she ends up stealing something from the queen's men, and in the undying queen, as they call her, and in doing so, she ends up having to go to the palace to be punished. And while in the palace, she encounters Death, who is that's what she calls him throughout this, Death himself, and that is a Fae princeling named Kingfisher, which is the man on the front of this book. So Kingfisher, yeah, she meets him, and then she ends up in the Fae world to recover and some other things. And I'm not trying to give too much away, just because Okay, so it's been over 1,000 years since any humans have been in the Fey realm, and so she has to like navigate that, and she is able to control the quicksilver, which is like this element that they use, but that means that she is an alchemist, and so they need her in order to utilize the quicksilver because they've not had an alchemist in like thousands of years. So that is basically what I'm getting from this. I'm having the best time. The banter between Saris and Kingfisher is top tier. The audiobook is really good. It is like a duet narration, which is really interesting because this is actually from only Saris's POV. So we have a male narrator in here who does the voices of all of the male characters throughout the book, and it's just a really like immersive experience. So I'm truly enjoying this. I totally understand the hype of like Kingfisher and this book in general, so I can't wait to read book 2. This is probably going to be at least a 5-star. It could be a 6. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the stack of like best books of the year. I'm literally having the best time. And honestly, with this book, I've read some of it on my Kindle, and I've read some because I have it on KU. Obviously, this is a KU clean out vlog. And I've read some of it with the audiobook, and honestly, either way does it justice. I'm absolutely loving this book. So there's that. I'm going to go read some more of this. I'm actually going to probably try to finish this today or tomorrow so that we can finish up this vlog. But I wanted to come in at the 50% mark and just explain like what I could about this book. There's a lot going on. I will say this, if you're not a spice person, I will try to find the account that I know. I follow her on Instagram, and there is an account on Instagram where she will break down spicy books for you, and she'll tell you what parts to skip. I personally love some spice, like spice or no spice, it doesn't really matter to me. But I know some people want to read this, but they don't want to read the spice. So I will link her account down below if I can find it, so that you can access that if you want like a breakdown of where spice is in this book, so that you can enjoy this without having to read the spicy parts. I know that the lit homebody, she didn't break it down, but she did read it with skipping the spice. So there's that. I personally love the banter and the spice in this book. It's so good. And yeah, that's all I have. So I'll be back when I have finished Quicksilver and to close out this vlog. Hello friends, I'm here to close out this edition of KU Clean Out. So it has been a few days, but I did finish Quicksilver. It's been a few days since I finished this. I was trying to figure out how to get my like thoughts together. By now you've seen this already in a book and coffee chat, but I didn't really go into a lot of detail. So let's talk about Quicksilver. I gave this book 6 stars. I absolutely loved this book. So everything about this book, I get the hype behind Kingfisher. I loved Saris. I get a little concerned sometimes with younger heroines. Sometimes they annoy me. So for reference, I guess, I'm 33 years old, and I like an older heroine, like between 25 and up, like 25 and up. So Saris is 24, and sometimes I feel like in romantasy or fantasy books in general, when we have a protagonist that's between like 18 and 25, or like 16 and 25, we'll say 18 and 25. I feel like when they're supposed to be adults, but they can sometimes be written as like not adults, like they're written almost like teenagers, and it annoys me. But this book, the banter, top notch. Honestly, thank you to all my friends that told me to read this book, because it had been sitting on my KU, I think, for almost a year. It had been sitting there for a long time, but I did go buy the book. I ended up reading some of this immersion, so I read some of it with the audio slash physical book together. I read some of it just the audio, and I read some of it just on my Kindle. I didn't read any of it just physically, as in like physically, like with the book. I don't really read physical books that much, but I absolutely love this book. So let's go over the KU Clean Out books that I read in this vlog, if I can remember what they were. I know what they are, I think, yeah. Okay, so let's go over those. Yeah, let's go over those really quick. So obviously Quicksilver was the last one that I read for this, and I'm giving it 6 stars. Honestly, this book can do no wrong in my opinion. I'm pulling up my read books here because then I'll know what books I read, because these were pretty spaced out. Okay, so I read Quicksilver, which we loved, absolute banger of a book. And then we read Break the Girl, which is the first book in the Savage Kings of Bradwin Yu. This was a hockey, like a dark hockey romance, and I did like this book. I gave it 5 stars. I did not give it 6 because this is a series and the cliffhanger on it was relatively large, and it was kind of annoying to me how big the cliffhanger was, because it made me immediately pick up the second book and read the first like 3 chapters so I knew what happened to her, and then I put it down because I wasn't actually in the mood to read this book, the second book yet, but I will be continuing the series. Then before that, we read The Witch is Dead, which is book 2 in the Dark Oz series. I can't talk a lot about this one, but because Brittany and I were already reading it when I started this episode of KU Clean Out, I decided just to include it. It was not picked, well actually I think it was picked on the spinner wheel. It's been a little bit since I watched the footage back, but it actually may have been picked on the spinner wheel, and it just happened to work out that Brittany and I were reading this. So Brittany and I are reading this entire series together, so we have one more book in this series to still read. I gave this one 6 stars, I think. Yeah, I gave this one 6 stars. Ultimately, this book is such a fun time for me. It's very like Witsec-y to me, like with the feeling of reading it, not with like the subject matter. They're completely different books. This Dark Oz is a dark Wizard of Oz retelling, and Witsec was completely different. It was like a thriller, like a dark romantic thriller, about a girl who was in the Witsec program, and she meets these like brothers, they're her neighbors, whatever. She has a tryst with them. This is completely different than that, but the feeling and like the way I feel when I read it, like if I was reading these on my own, like if Brittany and I, not even if I was reading them on my own, because it wouldn't be fun to read these on my own. It's way more fun to read them with Brittany. So let me backtrack. If Brittany and I had the time to just binge this series, we'd be done with it. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that, and if she watches this, I guarantee she'll agree with me. And then the first book that we read was The Orc and the Innkeeper from the Elderberry Falls series. This was book 1, and I gave this one 6 stars as well. So we had, what, 2 6 stars, 3 6 stars, and a 5 star. So I'm calling this episode of KU Clean Out successful. I have actually started the next episode, so that's super fun. And yeah.